Oh, I guess we're on. Yes, it's we've reached that point in our relationship, followers, where it's time for me to put the video machine on and make all of this technology stuff that we have at our hands now available to me to get this message across. And it'd probably be no surprise to most of you to know that this one's going to be about the protest in Wellington, the anti-everything protest, or as I call it, the anti-consequence protest, or the millennial tantrum. Because we all knew, didn't we? We were told very clearly by the effective communication of our Prime Minister that in order to get through the pandemic, we were going to have to take measures as a country. And those measures included vaccinations and masks and social distancing and all the rest of it. And it managed to get us a very low number of people dying. The ones who didn't die, I call the silent minority, the thousands and thousands of people who walk amongst us now, perhaps even protest amongst us, who are thankful to be alive, silently thankful to be alive for the effective measures we took. Because when it comes to mandates, being anti-mandate is actually a human default. We are naturally wanting to be as free as we possibly can be. That's not being clever or being contrary. That's normal, folks. Being anti-mandate is quite normal. So why do we wear crash helmets, the mandated crash helmets on motorbikes? Why do we put our children into car seats? Why do we wear seat belts? Is because even though these mandates are awkward sometimes, they are actually important to us functioning properly as a society and staying alive. So the rational thinking ones look at a mandate and go, control. But for a good reason, I think I'll go along with that. And when things happen that we don't want to go along with, like for instance being talked about this week, the Springbok Tour, we protest. And I'm not going to be one of these woolly woofters who go, I support the right to legal protest. I support the right to illegal protest. I support the right of people who think something is so wrong that they have to break the law in order to do it. I learnt this from Nelson Mandela, and if you want to hear about the right to illegal protest and effective protest, then read his closing arguments in his treason trials in South Africa. Then come back to me and tell me the similarities between this tantrum and the Springbok Tour protests. Because they stop very, very early on in the piece when you talk about who this represents. In 1981, we, and when I say we, I mean me and other people, not we, the country, but me and other people protested about something we didn't like. And what that was racism in sport in our country and the support of a liberation movement of 25 million black people in a country far, far away. Didn't actually, wasn't for ourselves. And people say that split the country. And I guess it did. It split the country because there were over 50% of the people who wanted that tour not to go ahead. But the comparison today is that you've got 3 or 4% of the people who didn't want to get vaccinated. And they're comparing this with the Springbok Tour. Bit of remedial arithmetic called for, kids. And that is not just a remedial arithmetic, but remedial fucking thinking. Because this protest, or whatever it's about the consequences of the decisions you've made not to be vaccinated. The decisions that I made, the choices I made were, I want to carry on life as normal, I'm going to get vaccinated and I'm going to get boosted. I hear you saying that, but really, this is what we're talking about. Just fucking getting on with it. And that's the only reason I got vaccinated. It's not because I voted Labour, because I didn't. I don't like the Labour Party. I'm fucking pissed off that I have to defend them all the time. The reason I got vaccinated was because it seemed to me that that was the answer to getting on with it. Anyway, we've got this group of people, and who they are being led by, I'll put a link to that in the story down below in the comments, the splintered far right, and you can argue whether that's right or wrong amongst yourselves and toss around that as much as you like. I'm just going on the amount of rhetoric around tyranny. And this, I'm fucking sorry, but I find this so comical. Tyranny. Take a protest like this and hold it in Tiananmen Square in China, and then tell me that this is tyranny. Hold this in Afghanistan. Hold it in America. I saw some people get arrested, and I figured, okay, the cops are going to arrest everybody and charge them and go to court, and all the charges will be dropped, which we've seen this before. But they're just going to clear the place out. Now, whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, it's a tactic. But somewhere along the way, that tactic was changed. And now, the tyranny that these poor buggers are undergoing is the Speaker of the House decided to turn the sprinklers on soak. The sprinklers were set on soak because that's the lowest setting there was other than off. And he played Barry Manilow music to them in order to piss them off. Now, that's Mallard. That's the kind of guy he is. But it's not really tyranny, is it? I mean, sprinklers on soak and Barry Manilow. That's hardly the same as, say, the army and machine guns. You know, there's a fucking difference here, and I would like you people down in Wellington, if you're fucking not too stoned or drunk by now, to have a think about that. And do you feel a little bit fucking stupid when you're calling on the government to not have a police state, when the police are there protecting you from the angry citizens of Aotearoa who want you the fuck to go away? Now, I think you should stay. Stay as long as you like. Stay until you make your point, whatever it is. But don't tell me that the guys who are handing out lollies to you and your kids and finding free parking for the utes and your fucking bomb shit cars, blocking up the streets so that the businesses can't run, don't tell me that that's tyranny, because it's fucking not. And if you think it is, get your fucking heads read, because you don't know what tyranny is. And this is the other thing about 1981 and now. You're protesting because something affects you. You're inconvenienced. My life's terribly inconvenienced. You know, I have to wear a mask when I go down to my cafe in the morning and have a coffee. Well, actually, I can take the mask off. I have to wear it when I walk in and when I order my coffee. Then I can go and take my mask off. I have to wear it in the supermarket. I have to wear it at work. I have to check in and social distance. But if someone's telling me that that is the hallmark of a tyrannical regime, I'm going to say you've been hit very hard on the back of the head with a fucking pipe. Not the front of the head with a pipe, but with a fucking steel pipe. because it's damaged your brain to the point where you have no longer got your fucking feet on the ground. This is a very strange protest. And I say that as someone who's actually fucking done a bit of protesting. Some people would say too much. But I did. I went to every protest I could bloody find. I took my camera, I took photographs, and I documented it. And I got it to understand it. And one of the first things I learnt with protesting was, in the organisational side of protesting, there's a lot of people come forward. A lot of people with agendas come forward. And I'm not talking about good leadership here. I'm talking about fucking brilliant leadership. Because good leadership isn't enough. It needs to be exemplary and faultless. This kind of leadership can manage all of those factions and all of those agendas and keep everything running smoothly. Keep the nutters from the microphone and, you know, from yelling out things like Zeke Hale and all that sort of nonsense, which you guys haven't sort of mastered yet. But effectively, this protest has been driven, and it's got to this point, and the guidance is coming from the extreme far right. Now, that's a worry, you know, because those guys, if they had their way, there wouldn't be any protesting. We wouldn't be able to protest against their tyranny. But this protest has been treated completely different. So imagine for a minute, or not even for a minute, just for a second, if this protest and this amount of illegal behaviour was in demands for decriminalising marijuana, or in endorsing all recommendations of the Waitangi Tribunal, or in freezing rents. Imagine if that's what this occupation of public land was about. We wouldn't be in day 8. Those protesters would have been dispersed violently and brutally and in any means necessary by the state to clear the domain, the public area. There wouldn't be any argument about it, and all around the media and talkback radio and social media would be conservative people congratulating the government of the day for maintaining law and order and make sure that the rule of law was upheld and citizens' rights were blah, 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 blah. You know the fucking shit we hear every time we have something to say. But where are those voices? Where's Sir Bob Jones's editorial? Where is Rodney Hyde's editorial? We saw that, didn't we? Rodney Hyde said, good on them. That's right. He's come out. Good on you. But where's Richard Prebble telling the government to act? Where are the people who are always calling on the police to be heavily armed and that the rule of law must always be obeyed and that the rabble must not tell us what to do and this is public land and blah, blah, blah? Where are those voices? Why have they suddenly, over this protest, become so silent? Who in the police ministry made the call to take a softly approach? Put the batons away. They took the batons off the police. Who made that call? And what connections do they have, if any, to the far right? Why is this protest getting such a soft run from the state? I don't get it. Well, I do. I get it. I fucking get it. Do you? That is about all I'm going to bloody fit in before I say see you later.